Since this attack in Arras took place, another one in Belgium just a few hours ago, on Monday night in Brussels, are the two attacks linked in any way? How similar are they? How different are they?
Well, actually, they are linked by their allegiance to the Islamic State. And that's it. Because both of them vowed allegiance to the Islamic State in two videos for the Brussels attacker and in an audio for the Arras attacker that we just understood after the press conference of the judicial apparatus of France. So, but everything else puts them apart, actually, because the attacker of Arras, as we understood, had a real understanding of the ideology of the Islamic State, because he said that he is doing this in order to support Muslims in the world and not particularly any case, meaning he said Iraq, Asia, and Palestine, not talking about what's happening in Israel, between Israel and Gaza, as we speak, and because also he expressed his opposition to Al-Qaeda. And this is core Islamic State dogma, meaning that he knows what he was doing and he was intellectually armed to conduct this action in the name of the Islamic State. On the other hand, he was less prepared than the attacker of Brussels, because he only attacked with knives, and he attacked his old...
You mean weapon-wise?
Exactly, and he attacked his old high school, which is described as a soft target, meaning it's easy to attack.
Right, because he had personal links.
Exactly. On the other hand, the attacker of Brussels, he vowed allegiance to the Islamic State, and knowing that the Islamic State never asked actually to avenge the burning of the Qurans in Sweden.
Do we know that about the attacker the Tunisian attacker in Belgium, that
yes,
that was
linked?
Said it.
He said it. He said, I killed 3 Swedish persons. Actually, there are two.
Yeah.
And he was wearing a Swedish football team T-shirt.
Right, because it was the game.
In order to get...
Oh, the attacker was
exactly,
wearing it. Right.
Yeah, you see?
Yep.
And so it is clearly... in response to this burning of the Quran in Sweden, which is actually a bit absurd, because as we can see, we'll show you an article that was written by the observers here in France 24, and we know today that the person who burned the Quran is an Iraqi Christian refugee in Sweden. And we know that Sweden talked about Islamophobia, criticizing this act. So we have here an Iraqi refugee burning the Quran, and a legal immigrant in Brussels killing Swedish football supporters in order to avenge the Muslims in the world, which is a little bit absurd and unstructured ideologically compared to what happened in Arras.
How many of these attacks that unfortunately happen, especially in the West, but also around the world? I mean, it just really sounds like, I'm asking you, are these people who are deranged, who would have attacked anyway, and who take whatever theological or ideological or political support they can find for an action that they would do anyway? Or is this motivated really by...
It depends. This sticks to the profile of the attacker of Brussels, but it doesn't fit the profile of the attacker of Arras, because he's, one more time, ideologically solid. He comes from a family which is already radicalized. He has a brother in jail. He has his father who was deported back to Russia, because they are from Caucasian, not Chechen, but Caucasian origin. Exactly.
Yeah.
So no, it is not the same. You have many motivations, you see, and sometimes you see a copycat effect.
Right.
So the attacker of Brussels might have had this copycat effect when he saw the attack of Arras. You see, because when you have
because it sounds like it was not as premeditated, perhaps, or
but he had an arm.
Right.
This is also the difference between the attacker.
Do we know how he got that weapon?
We don't, but we know as we talk.
It's a military.
We know
grade
as we
weapon.
talk that he doesn't have a web. You know?
Right. He's a lone wolf.
He's a lone wolf. But he bought this arm somewhere. But this could be done anyways, you know?
Right.
Because even the attackers of the 13th of November here in Paris and in Brussels, they bought their arms on the black market. It's easy to be found nowadays in Europe. Less easy than the States, but it's still easy to be found.